She texted, "I'm pregnant and keeping it, but I don't want you involved." I replied, "Understood." Then I sent her mom the DNA test from 2 years ago. Her mom was at my door with her sobbing daughter in 20 minutes. I, 29 male, was sitting at my desk finishing up some invoices when the text came through at 3:22 p.m. on a Thursday. It was from Brianna, 27, my ex who I dated for 3 years before we split 8 months ago. "Hey, I need to tell you something. I'm pregnant. It's yours, but I don't want you involved at all. No support, no visits, nothing. I'm doing this alone. Just thought you should know." I stared at the message for a solid minute, then I typed back, "Understood." 3 dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, "That's it? Just understood?" "Yep. Wow, shows what kind of person you are. Don't contact me again." I set my phone down and opened my filing cabinet, pulled out a folder labeled Important Docs. Inside was a DNA test report from exactly 2 years and 3 months ago. The same test that had destroyed my ability to trust Brianna completely, though I'd tried to make it work for another year after that. See, Brianna had a pregnancy scare back then. She was convinced she was pregnant, made this whole production about it. We were planning baby names, converting the spare room to a nursery. Then one day she came home crying, saying she'd lost it. Something felt off about the whole thing. The timeline didn't match up, her story kept changing slightly. When I gently suggested we go to the doctor together to make sure she was okay, she lost it. Accused me of not trusting her. But I couldn't shake the feeling, so I did something that probably makes me an AH. I took a strand of her hair from her brush and had it tested against some genetic material from her miscarriage that I'd kept from a tissue she'd thrown away. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but my gut was screaming at me. The results? No genetic match. The miscarriage tissue wasn't even human. My best guess? Chicken liver or something similar. I never confronted her about it. Instead, I slowly started pulling back emotionally. Eventually, we broke up for compatibility issues. She never knew I knew about her fake pregnancy. But now she was trying round 2. I took a photo of the DNA test results. Then I scrolled through my contacts to find her mom Diane's number. Diane and I had always gotten along great. She used to joke that she liked me better than her own daughter sometimes. I typed out a message. "Hi Diane, sorry to bother you, but Brianna just informed me she's pregnant and wants no involvement from me. I wanted you to have this information from 2 years ago before any decisions are made. I never told anyone about this, but given the current situation, I think you should know." I attached the DNA test results and hit send. My phone exploded within 30 seconds. What the hell is this? Are you saying what I think you're saying? Stay where you are, we're coming over. 22 minutes later, there was pounding on my door. I opened it to find Diane standing there with Brianna, whose face was red and puffy from crying. Diane looked furious. "Inside." "Now," Diane commanded, dragging Brianna by the arm. They sat on my couch. Well, Diane sat. She basically threw Brianna onto it. "Show me everything," Diane said. I pulled out the physical folder, the original test results, my documentation of the timeline, everything. Diane's face got redder with each page. "You faked a pregnancy?" she hissed at Brianna. "You faked a miscarriage?" Brianna was sobbing. "It's not like that. I thought I might be pregnant, and then I wasn't sure, and Jake was being so sweet, and I didn't want to disappoint him." "So you bought animal organs and pretended to miscarry?" I asked calmly. The room went silent. "How did you?" Brianna started. "DNA test. It wasn't human tissue." Diane stood up slowly. "And now, this pregnancy?" Brianna looked at the floor. "Answer me. I am pregnant. But what? It's not his." The room was so quiet you could hear the neighbor's TV through the wall. "Whose is it?" Diane asked in a deadly quiet voice. "Trevor's." "Your married coworker Trevor? The one with 2 kids?" Silence. "You're trying to baby trap Jake because Trevor won't leave his wife," Diane said. It wasn't a question. Brianna started ugly crying. "You don't understand. Trevor said he loved me. He said he was getting divorced. But then his wife got pregnant again and he said he couldn't leave now, and I'm already 2 months along, and what am I supposed to do?" I leaned back in my chair. "So your solution was to pretend it was mine and that you didn't want my involvement, thinking I'd fight for parental rights and support you anyway?" She looked up at me with tears streaming. You were always so good to me. So responsible. I knew you'd step up even if I said I didn't want you to. You'd never let a child of yours go without. Except it's not my child. You wouldn't have known that. Diane's hand moved so fast I barely saw the slap coming. The crack echoed through my apartment. You disgust me, Diane said. Using this man's goodness against him? After what he did for you? He paid for your coding boot camp. He supported you when you were finding yourself. He treated you like a queen, and this is how you repay him? Update 1. Holy crap, you guys were right. This was just the beginning of the crazy. So after Diane dragged Brianna out of my apartment, literally, she grabbed her by the ear like she was 5, I thought that was the end of it. Nope. The next morning, I woke up to 67 Instagram notifications. Brianna had posted this long-ass story about how I was a deadbeat dad who was abandoning her in her time of need. She actually wrote, and I quote, "Some men will sweet-talk you fierce then run the second there are real consequences. Ladies, this is why we choose better. Single moms rock, deadbeat dad has not ready." The comments were insane. Her friends were calling me every name in the book. Some were saying they always knew I was trash. One girl, Kelsey, wrote a whole paragraph about how men like me should be chemically castrated. But here's the thing, Diane has Instagram too. She commented, "Interesting fiction, sweetie. Should I post the DNA test showing you faked a pregnancy 2 years ago? Or should I mention that you admitted the baby is actually your married coworkers? At everyone, my daughter is a liar and a homewrecker. Jake is the victim here." The comment section went nuclear. Within an hour, Brianna had deleted everything. But screenshots live forever, and I made sure to grab them all for my records. Then came the messages from Trevor's wife, Eliza. "Is this true? Is Brianna pregnant with my husband's baby?" I sent her screenshots of everything, including Brianna's confession in my apartment. Yeah, I recorded it. One-party consent state, baby. 20 minutes later, Eliza posted the screenshots on her Facebook with the caption, "So this is the workplace friend Trevor said I was paranoid about. Currently pregnant with my husband's baby while trying to fraud her ex into raising it. Some women really have no shame. Brianna Martinez, this is your public service announcement." She tagged Brianna. She tagged Trevor. She tagged their workplace. But wait, it gets better. Trevor showed up at my apartment that night. This dumbass actually had the audacity to be mad at me. "You couldn't just leave it alone?" he shouted when I opened the door. "Excuse me?" "She wasn't asking you for anything. She said she didn't want you involved. You could have just walked away, but no, you had to play detective and ruin everything." I laughed. Actually laughed in his face. "Ruin what, exactly? Your affair, your marriage, your lies?" "You don't understand. Eliza is taking everything. The house, the kids, everything. And now Brianna won't even talk to me. She says this is all my fault for not leaving Eliza sooner." "Sounds like a you problem, Trevor." "I could make this a you problem real quick." He stepped forward, trying to be intimidating. "Trevor, you're 5'8" and have the muscle mass of a string bean. Also, my doorbell camera is recording this. Please, by all means, assault me on camera. I'm sure that'll help your custody case." He deflated like a punctured balloon. "She told me she was on birth control." He said pathetically, "She told me she had a miscarriage that turned out to be chicken liver. Welcome to the club, I guess." He stared at me. "What?" I showed him the test results. His face went white. "Oh my God. Oh my God. What have I done? I destroyed my family for a psychopath." "Yep." He actually started crying. This grown man stood in my doorway sobbing about how his life was over. Part of me felt bad for him. The other part remembered that he was a married man with kids who chose to raw dog his coworker, so play stupid games and all that. Update 2. So remember how I said Brianna's mom Diane was on my side? Well, apparently that caused a massive family rift. Brianna's dad, Harold, decided that I was the villain in all this. According to him, I humiliated his little girl and aired private family business, and was probably the reason she felt the need to lie in the first place. Dude actually called me trying to threaten legal action for defamation. "Harold, truth is an absolute defense against defamation. You're saying my daughter is a liar." "No, I'm saying she lied. There's a difference. One is a character judgment, the other is a statement of fact backed by DNA evidence." You had no right to share that with Diane. Your adult daughter tried to commit fraud. Her mother deserved to know. He hung up on me. But then the extended family got involved. Brianna's aunt Rosa, Diane's sister, posted on Facebook about how certain people need to mind their own business and that family matters should stay in the family. Diane responded, "Family matters? My daughter tried to defraud an innocent man into raising another man's child. That's a crime, Rosa. Rosa, she made a mistake. She's pregnant and scared. Diane, she's pregnant because she was sleeping with a married father of 2. She's scared because she got caught. Stop enabling her." The Facebook fight went on for hours. Cousins were taking sides. Grandma Ethel chimed in with, "In my day, this would have been handled quietly," which started a whole generational debate. Then Brianna made her next move. She showed up at my workplace. I work at a small marketing firm, maybe 20 employees. Everyone knows everyone. And here comes Brianna, visibly pregnant now. She'd been hiding it before, crying at the reception desk. "Please, I just need to talk to Jake. He won't answer my calls. It's about our baby." Our baby. The receptionist Grace called me down. I brought my manager, Carl, with me as a witness. "Brianna, you need to leave." "Jake, please, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry for everything, but this baby needs a father." "Then tell Trevor to step up." "He won't. His wife is divorcing him and he says the baby isn't his problem." "And it's mine? You're a good man. You could be a wonderful father. Biology doesn't matter." Carl stepped in. "Ma'am, you need to leave or we're calling security." "I'm pregnant," she wailed. "With someone else's baby," I said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "You already admitted it wasn't mine. This is harassment." She turned to the gathering crowd of my coworkers. "He's abandoning me. I made one mistake, and he's throwing away 3 years." I pulled out my phone and played the recording of her admitting Trevor was the father. The whole office heard it. Brianna's face went from fake sad to genuinely horrified. "You recorded me? One-party consent state. Now leave before I file a restraining order." She left, but not before screaming that I was a sociopathic monster who destroyed her life. Grace looked at me after she left. "Dude, your ex is insane." Update 3. The extinction burst. Wait, no, that's too cliché. Let's call it what it was. Brianna's complete mental breakdown. After the office incident, I did file for a restraining order. The judge granted a temporary one immediately after hearing the recording and seeing the evidence of her trying to commit fraud. This apparently triggered something in Brianna because she went completely off the rails. First, she tried to contact my mom. My mom. This woman called my sweet 62-year-old mother and told her she was carrying her grandchild. My mom, bless her, said, "Honey, Jake sent me the recording. I know that baby isn't his, but even if it was, after what you've done, I wouldn't want you in our family anyway. Please get help." Brianna's response? She told my mom I was gay and in denial, which is why I was rejecting her and the baby. My mom, even if he was, that would be fine. But he's not, considering he's been dating that lovely girl Meredith from his gym for the past month. Oh yeah, didn't mention that. I started seeing someone new. Nothing serious yet, but Meredith is great. She thinks this whole situation is bonkers and has been super supportive. Anyway, after my mom shut her down, Brianna tried a new approach. She contacted my ex-girlfriend from college, Jessica. Jessica called me laughing. "Yo, your crazy ex just DM'd me asking if you ever showed violent tendencies when we dated." I told her the only violence you ever showed was against pizza rolls at 2 a.m. But here's where it gets really crazy. Harold, Brianna's dad, decided to take matters into his own hands. He showed up at my apartment with 2 of his brothers, Rick and Paul. 3 middle-aged men trying to intimidate me into doing the right thing. "You're going to marry my daughter," Harold said. I laughed. "No, I'm not. She's pregnant and alone. She's pregnant with Trevor's baby. Trevor's problem, not mine." Rick stepped forward. "You think you're tough, boy? I think I'm smart enough to have this conversation on my doorbell camera. I also think my neighbor is a cop, who's probably home right now. Want me to call him?" They left, but not before Harold said, "You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is not seeing who your daughter really was sooner." The next day, I got a call from my landlord. Harold had called him claiming I was running a drug operation out of my apartment. My landlord, who I've known for 5 years, laughed it off and warned me about the accusation. Then they tried calling my work saying I'd been embezzling. My boss told them to provide proof or face legal action for false accusations. They hung up. But the peak desperation came 3 days ago. Brianna posted on a pregnancy support group on Facebook that she was abandoned by her baby's father and needed help. She raised $1,400 before someone recognized her name from Eliza's viral post and outed her in the comments. The group admin investigated, found out the truth, and not only banned her, but demanded she return the money or they'd pursue fraud charges. Update 4. Court day arrived for the restraining order hearing. Brianna showed up in a maternity dress that looked like she was about to give birth to triplets. She was only 3.5 months along. Her dad was with her, along with some lawyer who looked like he got his degree from a cereal box. My lawyer, Janet, absolute shark, worth every penny, had everything organized. The fake pregnancy test from 2 years ago, the recordings, the screenshots, the harassment at my workplace, the false accusations to my landlord and employer, everything. Brianna's lawyer tried to argue that I had emotionally manipulated her into lying about the paternity. Janet, how does one emotionally manipulate someone into having sex with their married coworker? He was withholding affection. They had been broken up for 8 months when she got pregnant. The judge looked tired already. Then Brianna took the stand. She actually tried to cry but couldn't produce tears. She kept touching her belly dramatically while talking about how devastated she was that I wouldn't step up for this innocent baby. Ma'am, is this your child's biological father? Biology doesn't determine fatherhood. That's not what I asked. Is he the biological father? Long pause. No. Do you know who the biological father is? Yes. And who is that? I don't see how that's relevant. The judge granted the restraining order for 2 years. Brianna screamed that I was ruining her life. Harold called me a coward. The security guard had to escort them out. But wait, there's more. Outside the courthouse, Trevor was waiting, with divorce papers. He wanted Brianna to sign something saying she wouldn't pursue child support. The meltdown was epic. Brianna started hitting him with her purse. Harold tried to grab Trevor. Trevor's lawyer was recording everything. It was chaos. Local news picked it up because someone filmed it. Domestic dispute at county courthouse leads to 3 arrests. Yeah, Harold, Brianna, and Rick, who showed up for support, all got arrested for assault and disturbing the peace. Update 5. So Brianna had to pay back the $1,400 she fraudulently raised, plus she got banned from multiple pregnancy support groups after her story went viral in those communities. Trevor's divorce was finalized. Eliza took him to the cleaners. He's living in a studio apartment and paying alimony and child support for his actual kids. He refuses to acknowledge Brianna's pregnancy. Brianna tried one last Hail Mary. She went to a lawyer about suing me for emotional distress. The lawyer literally laughed her out of his office. I know because his secretary is friends with Grace from my office. But here's the karma kicker. Remember how Brianna worked with Trevor? Well, their company has a strict fraternization policy. When the workplace affair came out, thanks to Eliza tagging their company in her viral post, both Brianna and Trevor got fired. Brianna tried to claim pregnancy discrimination, but the company had documentation of her admission that she'd been having an affair with a married coworker for months. They also had evidence she'd been using company computers to plan her fake pregnancy announcement to me. IT pulled her search history. How to convince ex-boyfriend baby is his. And can you fake a DNA test were highlights. She's now unemployed, pregnant, living with her parents, and has a restraining order against her. Diane called me last week. Jake, I'm sorry about everything. I'm getting Brianna therapy, but I don't think she's accepting responsibility yet. She still thinks you ruined her life by not just going along with her plan. I hope she gets help, Diane. I really do. You're a good man. Better than she deserved. Final update. Brianna had the baby, a boy. Trevor signed away his parental rights before the kid was even born. Brianna tried to put my name on the birth certificate anyway. The hospital called me because she'd listed me as the father. I sent them the restraining order and the court documents. They had to get security to remove her dad from the hospital when he made a scene about them not putting my name down. According to the grapevine, Brianna is still living with her parents. Harold and Diane are getting divorced. Apparently, this situation exposed a lot of issues. Trevor moved to another state to start fresh. Eliza is dating a doctor she met at her gym and living her best life. Rosa still posts passive-aggressive memes about family loyalty. As for me, Meredith and I are officially together. She's amazing, funny, smart, honest, what a concept, and has her life together. She jokes that she owes Brianna a thank you card for being so crazy that I was single when we met. My company gave me a raise after all the drama. Carl said I handled it professionally and it showed character. I also got a better apartment in a building with actual security, just in case Harold gets any more bright ideas. Janet, my lawyer, sent me a Christmas card with a photo of my case file labeled Easiest Slam Dunk of 2024. The best part? A month ago I ran into an old mutual friend who told me Brianna's been telling people I'm the one who baby trapped her and then abandoned her when she wouldn't marry me. Even her mom doesn't buy that story anymore. Some people asked if I feel bad about how everything went down. Honestly, no. I could have just ignored her text and let her live with her lies. But she tried to fraud me into raising another man's child. She faked a pregnancy and miscarriage. She tried to destroy my reputation, my job, my relationships. She played stupid games. She won stupid prizes. The only people I feel bad for are that baby who's going to grow up with Brianna as a mother, and Diane, who seems like a decent person drowning in the chaos her daughter creates. But that's not my problem anymore. It never really was. To anyone dealing with a similar situation, document everything. Trust your gut. And never, ever let someone manipulate you into taking responsibility for their choices. Peace out. P.S. Brianna, if you're reading this, and I know someone will send it to you, your son deserves better than the drama you're creating. Get help. For his sake, if not your own. P.P.S. No, I won't tell you where I got the DNA test done 2 years ago. Stop asking, Harold.